how did you grow up, Mr. Cooper?
How did I grow up?
How did you grow up? And where did you grow up at?
I was born in Columbus in 1919 in
Okay.
September.
Okay. And how was it back then? It was pretty rough back then, wasn't it? You know,
The
depression
depression was
right?
on, yeah.
Okay. So how far did how did you just meet?
I worked in the grocery store, an A&P store,
Okay.
right across the street from where she lived.
Yes, sir.
And we went to school, the same school together.
Mm-hmm.
Not together, went to the same school.
Okay.
I didn't know her. I was in a different crowd of people.
Okay.
And her mother was on my side. She'd come in the store and shop. And she went back to the house, and I guess she and I got along pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
And she convinced...
Yes, she bragged me how wonderful this young fellow was at work at the store. So I finally went over to see.
So was it what they call love at first sight?
Yeah, I guess. He asked me to go out, and so we started going together. We went together a year before he went in the service.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So tell me about the service, Mr. Cooper. When did you decide to join, and what made your decision to go in? To go into service?
Uncle Sam made the decision.
Oh, so you were drafted.
Yeah, I was drafted.
Okay.
But I was inducted in Columbus.
Okay.
And then from whenever they started telling, this guy's got to go to Virginia and this guy's got to go to this, and I thought, oh, not Virginia, because I'd never been away from home in my life before. Well, when time come up, my name was called, I got to go to California.
Oh, okay.
We could just see each other every day, yeah. But anyway, I had 3 months basic training in California,
Okay.
and then they shipped me to Hawaii.
Okay.
And that was in September of 1940.
Okay.
1941.
Okay. Now you and Miss Mary you weren't married at that time.
Oh, no.
no,
Right.
we were engaged.
You were engaged.
We were
And
engaged.
Like I say.
You were telling me that you wanted to, though, right?
Right.
We were going to get married, but his dad talked us into waiting. It was supposed to be 1 year you were in, and then you were out. But
Yes, ma'am.
things didn't work that
Things
way.
didn't work out that way. You were there when Japanese came over and started bombing Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Where were you at the time?
I had to Schofield Barracks. That was where I stayed.
Okay.
And we had a tent area. And when we first went to the tent area, the first night it rained.
Okay.
And the next morning I woke up and my shoes were floating around the floor.
Okay.
They must have had the tents back in the Civil War because they were shot.
They weren't very good.
But there's a mountain range, and I was closely to the bottom of the range, and it's got Schofield Barracks on it.
Okay.
When they made their bend to go to the harbor to bomb it,
Okay.
our camp was right where they made the bend. And when they banked that airplane, I was close enough. I was washing my mess kit. It was in the morning. I'm washing my mess kit. I could see their teeth. I was that close.
Wow.
But here's that orange circle on the plane, and I thought, well, maneuvers. We're having another maneuvers. Then a friend of mine that I slept in the same tent area, he came running up to me, Del, they shot the heel of my shoe off. And I looked at him, oh, come on, knock it off. But it turned out he went out and dug the jacket of the bullet up, and it was steel. So we knew it wasn't wax. And that's when we found out it was somebody that was going to kill us if they could. And all this time, I'm standing out here in an open field, wiping my mess kit off while they're shooting at me. And it's just a miracle I didn't get killed right there. And then we had no guns because the guy that had our rifles, they were under lock and key. He wasn't going to take a chance of being charged for the rifles. And the other guns that we had to knock the plane down, we never had them because they couldn't afford to give it to us. They put us in trucks, and we went to the armory, and instead of we had to load these trucks up with shells,
Okay.
and instead of going through the door, they just tore the siding off of the whole building and just put the trucks around the whole building.
Okay.
And we put the shells in the truck then at that time.
Okay.
But in the meantime, when we were going to go to this building, we passed Wheeler Field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had just that, every night they usually put the airplanes in line so that for inspection.
Okay.
Well, they had done the same thing on Saturday night. The Japs came over and just riddled them to pieces.
Okay.
And the pilots and the mechanics were all in the building right beside the airplanes, really. And most of them got killed.
Most of them got killed.
That was the first death I seen. And
Okay.
they laid them out in the street in the bag.
Okay.
And but every time they made a bend at our camp, in about 2 or 3 seconds, you'd see a puff of smoke. And then when the puff of smoke finished, that was because of the bombing.
The bombing.
That was when Hickam Field was the next worst one that was deadly. They were eating breakfast, and it was a cement building.
Okay.
And the airplanes flew overhead and bombed the building, and the top floor, there was 3 floors, the top floor fell in on them when they were eating.
Okay.
Most all the guys got killed there.
Wow.
And there's a lot of death that I think that's enough death. We probably could talk about something else now.
Okay, that's okay, Mr.
Okay.
Cooper. That's okay, Mr. Cooper. Miss Mary, how did you feel when he was there?
Well, I remember. I
communicate
can remember
a lot?
when it was on a Sunday, and I came home from church, and my dad said, "Got some bad news." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Well, we just heard that they bombed Pearl Harbor and Schofield Barracks."
Okay.
So I thought, oh boy. So his mother, I went over to her house right away,
Okay.
and we didn't know for 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks before we found out that he was alive.
Okay.
So it was
It's pretty scary, then.
real, a bad time.
Yes, ma'am.
And I worked. I was working at the Goodyear
Okay.
Tire and Rubber Company
Yes, ma'am.
in the what they
Relief
call it?
office.
Relief office, they called it, but they took insurance out for employees,
Yes, ma'am.
and so that was 4 years before he ever got to come home.
Come back
And
home.
I didn't talk to him, of course, or anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Just got some emails, I think they call. Is that what they call those?
Yeah.
Emails.
Is that right?
Those little things you got, you know.
Yes, ma'am. That's
But
okay.
we just had to go and do our daily work and
Yes, ma'am.
pray for him.
Yes.
So when I found out he was coming home, that was the best day.
I had one little more thing to tell about. When I came in on the train, I hadn't seen Mary for 4 years. My dad, mother, and I think your mom too. Huh?
Yeah, we were all there.
They were all there. And the train came in, and I could see Mary, and oh boy, great. So in comes a freight train between me and Mary.
And it blocked our way.
It blocked the way. After 4 years of trying to get to see Mary, and there comes that doggone freight train. I almost jumped over the freight train.
So did you just get married directly after you got home, or was it a little courtship for a while?
I waited a week.
Waited a
But we
week.
had to go get our blood test
Okay.
and our license, And then you had to wait so many days before
Yes,
you
ma'am.
could get married.
Yes, ma'am.
So I went ahead and planned a church wedding. We got married in a church.
Now you said God protects you. There, were you say you knew God then, right?
I went to church every day, and I thought, every Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, well, I'm doing my part of knowing God,
Amen. Okay.
but I didn't know how to be saved.
Okay.
Nobody ever taught being saved. My dad and mother, Billy. Have you ever heard of this guy, Billy Sunday? You ever hear of Billy
Mhm.
Sunday?
Yes, sir.
Well, my dad was saved by Billy Sunday.
And what year was that?
That's something.
Way back, I don't know. They had tent areas then that they went around to the countrysides.
Yeah.
This is a story that he tells me.
Okay.
And he and my mother both were saved.
Is that right?
Hmm.
Miss Mary, you said that you didn't know about salvation back then.
No,
When did you come to the salvation of Christ?
I went to a charismatic conference in Pittsburgh in maybe it was 1973.
Yeah.
1970, probably 1973. And I heard about salvation there, and I got saved. And boy, I was so happy. Everything was different. My mother and dad thought I was crazy. They were saved, but they didn't realize what I was going through, And so I got saved then I got baptized in the Spirit the next year when I went under, what did I say, Steve Durasoff.
Okay.
I remember that. And so after that, our whole life changed.
I thought she was crazy.
You thought Miss Mary was crazy?
Yeah.
Is that
She
right?
come home, I thought, oh boy, we've had it now.
I was praying for everything. I even went to our church, our old church. My niece and I went, and it was empty. We went and prayed over all the pews in the church.
Is that right? So God, the Spirit really got a hold of you there.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Amen.
And the next year he got saved. So
Okay.
She went to Oberlin College,
Mm-hmm.
and it's noted for its music.
Okay.
I was always interested in music, and they sang in the Spirit.
Okay.
in
That got
Finley
me.
Chapel,
Okay.
great big thing.
It was beautiful.
Oh, man.
I was listening for mistakes in the singing, off key or something. Always, everybody has an off key somewhere. They didn't have an off key. It was beautiful.
That's how he got saved.
Okay.
Well, that impressed me. And I thought, if they can do that, man, I can do something else with it. And I did. I was saved that way. And
Now they say it's
I went swimming
loaded.
in December of '42, and they had barbed wire around the swimming areas, and they didn't take care of the beaches, so there would be these electric eels you had to watch in shale
I
that
wouldn't
you
like
could
that.
cut yourself
You said
with.
he wasn't like that, huh?
No.
It was, I just wanted to do it to say I went swimming in Hawaii in '42. And I did.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Cooper, as an ex-military man myself, I served in operations as a storm.
Oh, did you?
Yes, sir. And but I look back at your generation. Just would have wanted to get it started, though. I'm a huge World War II buff fan, and I watched a lot of film and have so many CDs of it. The bravery of your generation was just unmatched. You're just a brave generation. Even the women, when the men were off, the women just stepped in and did what they had to do. You said you continued to work. Miss Mary, when he was overseas, was in Hawaii, right? In the service. So everybody had a role to play.
Yeah, right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I feel so bad, though, when they come up and say something about being a hero or something like that. I'm no hero.
He said, I'm not a
I
hero.
feel-
I just did what I was supposed to do.
It's these guys that went to
Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima, and all those places.
Yes, sir.
They're heroes.
Well, you know, a lot of guys that were in the Iwo Jima era and you know, fought in those wars. First thing to say is the ones that died are the heroes. You know, their buddies that died, they didn't get to come home. They were the heroes of that war. Yeah.
Now these guys in World War II that was in that it was forced that they had to go into, and they were surrounded by the Germans. Most all of them got killed.
The Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge.
Yes, sir.
Now that was.
Yes, sir. What's the American flag mean to you, Mr. Cooper?
Oh, it's everything.
Everything.
I feel so sorry. I'm a life member of the VFW, and I'm really ashamed of going into it. It turned out to be a place to go drink.
Yes.
I don't drink.
Okay.
And the American Legion is about the same way. It's
yeah, isn't that a shame?
That's the way they make their money, and I don't like it. But I'm one person.
Does it hurt when you see people not respecting what you?
Oh, I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible.
Because.
And in school, we always pledged allegiance to the flag.
I
don't know if they even do that anymore.
No,
we were taught. We had to memorize prayers in school. Did you too?
Oh well, you're wrong. That's sad when they take the prayer out of school.